I had intended this to be a video of me repairing a soldering gun that I bought at a yard sale for about $3. I lumped it in with some other stuff, so all of it came to like $5. So I'm putting about a $3 value on it. Amazingly enough, it actually worked when I got it home, but it was a little jinky. So I took it apart and did some work on it. But I had managed to forget to put the SD card in my GoPro, and it beeps just like normal, like it's gonna start taking video. So I wasn't paying attention and I didn't get any video. I've been looking for a soldering iron or a soldering gun like this, or a big soldering iron, because I've been working on that antique radio, and I needed something with more power than my piece of crap Radio Shack soldering iron I have. I had this big old, I call this Big Bertha. It's really old, and I had it working for a while, and then I tried to use it and it's not heating up anymore, and I took it apart, and the heater element is open and all wrapped in asbestos, so I decided I didn't really want to mess with it too awful much. Anyways, when I was working on this, without my GoPro running, I had taken some close-up video with another camera of the trigger switch, because the trigger switch was working but not working correctly, and so I had that video, and I'll put that in here. It was kind of an interesting problem, because somebody actually put the switch together wrong, and that's why it didn't work correctly. And then I was hoping to get out this weekend and get some video of a metal detecting hunt, but it's Colorado and it's snowing again. It's Colorado and it's the end of April and it's snowing again. So maybe in a week or so. I've been wanting to get over to my mom's house. Her house was built in the 1800s by my great-grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, I don't know. Anyways, my great-uncle lived there so it would be my great-great-grandfather. So my great-uncle lived there for many, many years. And it's actually two houses joined together in a small town up in the mountains. And he collected a lot of junk, fossils and geodes, and he would just hike all over the mountains and pick up stuff and bring it back to the house. I'm sure there's tons of metal type stuff in the yard, so we're gonna hopefully I'll get over there to see my mom, and me and my daughter can do a little metal detecting, but it may be a couple weeks down the road. Anyway, so this video is going to be, I might take this back apart and kind of take some more video of it, of kind of what I did to it and how I made it safe, because it worked, but it wasn't exactly safe. So I'll go through that. So that's it now. For now, we'll get to the video. So anyway, comes apart. What I did to fix this was these black and red wires here were pretty heated up, and I was concerned that they would short. So I put new heat shrink on over top of them, and then I rewrapped them in this electrical tape. There was electrical tape here originally, and I just did it the same way they did it from the factory. The other thing I noticed when I got into it was that the light holder here had a wire pop loose from it. So this is only like a 3-volt coil on this transformer, so it's not the end of the world, but not great. The wiring on the switch here was not great either, and the cord had rotted and needed replacing. So the first thing I did was found a good cord and changed that out, and then you know, and that meant cutting the old cord off and soldering it here and soldering it here, and then I resoldered these, and I also took the switch apart, which you'll see in this video I'll edit in. The other thing was the case was cracked in a couple places. It's still cracked here, up in the front here, but it was really bad in the back here, so I epoxied that together. And that was about it, other than, you know, just cleaning it up and making it look nicer. And I mean, the switch was probably figuring out what was wrong with the switch here was probably the hardest thing to do. Alright, this little switch has got me all curious. It's not ohming out to the second connection. So I get a connection here when I push the switch, but nothing ever happens to this one. Or no, it's this one gets a connection, and this one never seems to happen, but it's got the like the center tap windings going to it, so that's got to make a connection. I'm thinking it might be for the lamps, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to take this thing apart and see what's in it. I mean, this thing was working pretty well, just was a little dangerous with the broken wire inside and the frayed cord. So, but I mean, I used it right after I got it and it was working, so I just wanted to take it apart and make sure it was safe, and it was probably a good thing because it wasn't very safe. And we have so no connection to here, connection to there. So what in the world? I am definitely seeing that right. It's very odd to have a connection point and no connection. But there it makes contacts on those two, and when you release it, it makes contact here but not here, so there's no connection there. And you got to push the switch all the way in for it to snap and make connection across there. When it's here, huh? Interesting. Well, I wonder if I got it, if it had been put together backwards. If that makes any difference at all. Let's turn it around here. Come on. Oh, exactly the same. Now I'm really curious. You see how these are bent? This angle's not as steep as this angle. I'm wondering if one of these didn't get turned around somewhere over the centuries. And if I just spin it around like that, so it looks more like a parallelogram. If that's going to do anything, make it work right. Come on, get your little butt in there like you're supposed to be. I got it backwards. Spin it around. Get this guy back in there. Now, I'm going to push down. Clack. See, now these two are together. These two are, that one and that one are making a connection. And this one aren't yet. When you go a little further, click. So that makes a two position switch. So somewhere somebody had taken that switch apart and put it back together wrong. So that's pretty cool. We got that fixed. I'll put her back together now. And that'll just be one more repair. I should also mention that there's two sockets for light bulbs here. And I looked into buying new light bulbs, and they're like, you know, $10 a piece. So it would have been $20 for a pair of light bulbs. So I'm gonna run it without any light bulbs. I also looked at LEDs, and they were even more money. So you could put an LED in there. I still might do something later on in the future if I can find some lamp bases. I'll maybe make my own LED bulbs for it. But there it is, and she's a worker. Alright, the way these old soldering guns work is pretty easy. The plug from the wall is just hot neutral. These are not grounded generally. They come in and they hit the switch. The hot comes in and it hits the switch. I believe that's the case. And the switch is actually kind of like a 3 position because it's got an off. It's got an off position, and then it's got a position 1 and a position 2. But there's no real connection to the off. So it hits that, and then out here there's a transformer, and it goes goes straight to neutral. And it has a center tap. It comes out here to the 2 of the switch and 1 of the switch. So you got low power. I kind of drew it wrong, but this would be high power. This would be low power. Because low, you're only using half of the transformer, and high, you're using the entire winding of the transformer. And over here, there's another winding that goes straight to the tip. Straight out to the tip of the gun. Solder tip. And then there's one more winding on this transformer that feeds out to the lamps. So a pair of lamps like this. And this is like a 3-volt winding, and I didn't measure this one, but it's going to be fairly low. A big or a few coils, so lots of amperage, low voltage, lots of amperage. This is obviously here in America 120 volts, so it is higher voltage. And then you either take the whole 120 volts across the entire transformer or across half of the transformer, and that gives you high and low. So pretty simplistic thing. Not a lot that can go wrong, other than, you know, what was wrong with this one was the power cord was getting old and janky. It's missing its light bulbs, which is not a big deal, and the switch was had been put together wrong by a previous owner. That's about it.